I'm a member of the Wayne County Genealogical Society, and I want to share with you today a very special book that was found by my cousin in her attic. It is a journal that belonged to Daniel Whonsetler. He was the oldest brother of my second great-grandfather, and he moved to Wayne County in the early 1820s. He lived in Wayne Township, and in 1833, he was elected for the first time as the Justice of the Peace for the township. He served a 3-year term, and then again he was elected in 1838 for another 3-year term. This journal comes from that second term as his Justice of the Peace time. Now, one of the things, a Justice of the Peace was able to marry folks. They could settle minor disputes. They were not the judges or the primary judicial system in the county, but they were able to handle the minor things. And obviously we leave the regular justice system of those tasks. Unfortunately, as you can see, the journal was damaged. It's been written in. It's had pages torn out. There's some pages missing at the end of it as well. But despite that, there are, over 100 cases that Daniel heard during this second term. And some of them become very interesting. For one thing, the journal is set up so that basically all the sections are the same. You have plaintiffs and defendants. You have the basic debt and why. You have the court costs, and then you have the hearing summarized when the debtor was brought in for to see Daniel and to plead his case. In most cases, things were satisfied very quickly, and that becomes the signature comment at the end of each one of these from Daniel. His name is always underlined, and he is always written satisfied at the bottom. Most of these cases were brought by the merchants or the businessmen in Worcester. They extended credit, as almost all merchants did, and of course, as a result of that, if the person could not pay on time, there was going to be a debt incurred with a fee. Probably one of the, what I would call most notorious debtors was a man by the name of John Black. This is one of the only, I think there are only two-page entries that deal with the same debt. John Black John Black got credit from almost every merchant in town. And as he did, he accrued a lot of debt, which he eventually could not pay off. In this particular case, another merchant in town, William Childs, took bail for him, paid that, and kind of took John under his wing or so in order to try and get him to pay up and be able to satisfy this debt. Well, eventually it was turned over to Judge Lehman because even William Childs couldn't get the entire debt paid. Finally, John Black was able to satisfy this debt by selling his wagon. It wasn't the only thing he sold to pay a debt. He had also sold a horse. He had pledged twice that crops in the ground, such as wheat and corn, could be sold to pay off debts. He just had a real problem with money. So it's cases like this that make the journal very interesting. When I received it, I brought it to the library. It has been donated to the library for their safekeeping, and it has been digitized, and there is a booklet that goes with it here at the library that you can look through. Excuse me. my finger's working here. It shows some of the ads that were in the papers of the time. The newspapers are here on microfilm, so you can look at those. There's also a chart of all, page by page, all the plaintiffs and all of the defendants, how much the debt was for, eventually how it was, if it was paid, and any comments that go along with that particular debt. It's a very interesting look into early Wayne County, the merchants' businesses, the finances, the problems the people had. And it's a good way, if you had family here at the time, you might find them there as a debtor. I also want to share with you a picture of Daniel Whonsetler. Samuel was my second great-grandfather. He is much older here. His wife was Susanna Hewitt, and they came from Washington County, PA, to settle here in Wayne County, as I said, in the early 1820s. Lived a very long and successful life. Thank you.